Just my perspective is that people totally underestimate the potential of pastures in Western New South Wales, just because so much of the country is subject to this continual total grazing pressure from mainly kangaroos and feral goats, of course unmanaged goats. We're only about 25% of the area that has goats, but we've probably got about 75% of Australia's goats crammed into that area. Well, it's a big issue across the southern rangelands, so Western New South Wales, South Australia and all the southern rangelands of Western Australia through to Shark Bay. We've got control of grazing and ability to properly spell areas, and that is get all the grazing animals, all of them, as in moose and whatever, out. The more palatable grasses have a chance to rapidly recover, so people get a whole range of perennial grasses coming in.
A positive environmental outcome to having more perennial grass species is less soil erosion, and that's a big thing out here. We talk about needing 40% ground cover to minimise soil erosion.
I think that the TGP fencing is a huge key to this, managing this western country. When we talk control, we're talking being able to rest country and keep animals in an area or off an area for certain periods. So it's not like a dairy farm, but it gives you greater control than the original plain wire fencing we had. The
CMA has funded a lot of TGP fencing, which is like we've got here. Usually it's hinge joint based. Other people use Western electric fencing or multiple plain wires strung tight.
We probably have 100 to 150 k's of electric and hinge joint fencing done on Diageo, with electric fencing, stand-off electric fencing, and also Western fencing, Western electric fencing.
You get such a massive result once you fence out your feral animals, your roos and your goats, and you can actually control your grazing period, which is, even in this tough country, it's that far in front, it's not fun.
TGP project has three aspects. One is getting the fence up and getting it particularly goat proof. The second aspect is getting the area inside the fence under control, and that is getting the feral goats out. And the third aspect is implementing a management program, whether it's some sort of rotational grazing program with periodic rest.
We try to construct a multi-species type fence, so we can run from cattle to goats to sheep to wool to meat sheep at the flick of a switch, and that gives us the ability to adapt and to take advantage of shifts in markets, and that's helped us or enabled us to maintain our profitability.
DPI and ourselves have done a little bit of measurement over the last few years, and we're looking at cross-fence comparisons. That's over 6 times difference in pasture yield.
Where we've found the TGP fence works in that we don't have the pig population, and we don't have the roo population, and we don't have the wild camels. So definitely, if you're going to survive on the land, you have to have good fences, and TGP fences are the way to go.
There's production benefits there, as well as the reduction in runoff and erosion potential. And of course it's good for biodiversity as well. When you do get rainfall, the perennials can respond quickly because they've already got an established root system. They don't have to re-establish from seed every time.
You really need to let the plant get a decent leaf on it before it's grazed, so it's harvesting sunlight and making use of the moisture that's there.
Landlords can look at generating enough grass growth to run a fire if they want to treat woody weed germinations, that sort of thing.
In the last few years we've done a lot of fencing, TGP fencing, and some of that with the thanks of the Western CMA, who've given us a lot of assistance. The trouble with it is bloody addictive and it's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive, fencing. It's usually about $4,000 a kilometre.
It's a significant investment when you look at a TGP fence at $3,000 to $4,000 a kilometre to put us in a position where we can sort of basically do what we need to do to be profitable, and give us the ability to manage our country and manage our land to make it sustainable.
Trying to maintain and make do with a fence like this, doesn't really get you anywhere. It's costly to maintain and doesn't afford any enterprise change. Whereas if you spend a bit of extra money, upgrade it to a TGP fence, where you can start to get some control over your country and get some extra production out of it.
It certainly pays off in terms of the response from pastures and the flexibility it provides, and the ability to cope with dry conditions.
Since I've electrified the boundary, we've got a lot less kangaroos on Dijo than what our neighbours have around us.
Maintenance is an ongoing issue for TGP fencing. Fencing really enables you to manage the country better, to spell it, give the grasses the break that they need.
You can see that the land is working as a viable venture, as well as giving us the lifestyle that there's nothing nicer than being in the middle of a paddock. All the paperwork in the world stays in the office, and when you can walk out here and hear the cows in the background, or the kookaburra, or just look at the trees, go for a walk to the top of the Dijo Hill and see the view, you can't get better than that.